Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to watch football, not get married. What are we doing here?
I've gotten a lot of baby powder. People like, man, what'd you get out of baby powder for? I think I'm going to have to smack the hell out of a lot of people this year. I just can feel it.
Hold on. The only thing you should be getting married to in the fall is football.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Justin and Ben are back. No weddings in the fall, baby. It's time to get this thing going. We are once again without our one true faithful commissioner. He is at the Orlando Magic Miami Heat game trying to get in some sports because obviously being a Dolphins fan, he ain't watching too much good sports right now. So he's trying to restart his season, Ben. He's 0-0 again tonight.
The times have definitely shifted when you got to go to the Orlando Magic for some kind of reprieve. But hey, man, I listen. My teams ain't no better, from the Falcons to the Titans, even my Gators. So I'm in no room to talk trash. But I don't know who will win against the Titans and the Dolphins. But I would probably pick the Titans right now because I don't know what's going on with the Dolphins and Tua and Mike McDaniel right now. That's the worst combination of head coach quarterback we've seen in a while.
It is, and it's such a tough decision about who to go forward with because you can't just axe them both. You can't just say, nah, get out of here, both of you, because you're paying $153 million a year and the contract just started. You're like, this is literally dead money going to put you back in a hole. It's kind of crazy. But you know what, Ben? First things first, I want to talk about this because this is literally like breaking news. Billy Napier is gone, and we were talking about it before, but I just wanted to, let everybody in on the conversations we were having because you were dropping some bombs where I was just like, whoa, I didn't know any of this, but you knew a lot of this about the AD, Mr. Strickland over there. So I'm just going to let you take it away from me. Give it your all on this one. Tell me what you think about this because this is your alma mater.
I knew that Billy Napier was going to be gone after Sunday because there were a lot of reports that came out last week, but there was some very credible reporting coming out from like On3 stating that win or lose, Billy Napier was going to be fired on Sunday. Now, Scott Strickland, who tried to do damage control, that's the AD of Florida, he tried to come out all week saying don't believe the reports. He tried to come all week saying no, that hasn't been finalized yet. What happened after the game? He got fired, right? And here's the thing about Scott Strickland. They said in 2024, there were some reports that boosters came together at Coach Spurrier's restaurant in Gainesville and said they wanted Billy Napier out and they wanted Lane Kiffin in. And Scott Strickland went against the wishes of the boosters and said no. Not only did he say no, he gave Billy Napier a contract extension in 2024. So when people start asking who runs college athletics, college football in particular, boosters. So I was surprised that Billy Napier made it 4 years or 3 years and 7 games because at the end of the day, Justin, certain brands, everybody's going to get fired for losing. That's the easiest way. But when you talk about big brands, what gets you fired at a Florida, what gets you fired at a Penn State is when the brand takes a hit and the reputation takes a hit. They can't have that because if you're not winning games, all you have is your brand, your reputation, and your perception. Well, right now, the perception of Florida ain't good. The reputation is taking a hit, and the brand is taking a hit. You got to go. Now, not to count nobody's pockets, I saw how much money they owe Billy Napier, $21 million. They say Billy Napier going to make like $1.6 million a month next year. They say he makes like almost $55,000 a day. You think Billy Napier worried about me? No, you think he's worried about you. 55. Think about that. When people say, what is the big time? The big time has become a NFL or a college coach to where they pay you to leave. Even when you leave, they got to give you your ducat. So, hey, Billy Napier going to be all right. He's going to land on his feet because, like I said, Florida, Penn State, Arkansas, Oregon State, Oklahoma State, Colorado State, UAB. You got about 7-8 schools already looking for a new coach. Now, when it come to schools like Florida and Penn State, the G5 or the G6s of the world, those that they're not getting coaching from there anymore. That's not That's not going to happen. Now, can those type of coaches end up at like a Colorado State or a UAB? Yeah. But as far as like the Floridas of the world and the Penn States of the world, those big brands that carry a lot of weight with them, I think those days are over with. And that's unfortunate because you got some real good coaches coaching down there. But a guy like Billy Napier, he'll ruin it for a lot of people, unfortunately.
You know, it's crazy to me that you fire somebody off of a win, especially you're 2 games removed from a big win over Texas. So, you know, you're kind of like, you got this energy. And my Ben Troupe question of the day is one, were you ever around for a college or a pro coach to get fired? And 2, how do locker rooms respond to a coach getting fired after a win? Like, it's kind of like, you know, almost like counterintuitive. You're kind of like, you shouldn't be getting fired for a loss, but you guys went out there, played your ass off, and, you know, got the big interception when it needed. You're out celebrating on the field. Next day, this guy's packing his bags. He's heading out. He ain't going to the podium for the post game because he's already got his freaking bags packed. He's gone.
That's a great question. I have a 2-part answer to that. Number one, I was at Florida in 2000, 2001. That was my freshman and sophomore year. We had Coach Spurrier. We won the SEC my sophomore year. I was in 2001. That's 9/11. That's when, the whole world was turned upside down with what happened in the Twin Towers in New York. So we were scheduled to play Tennessee that weekend, and then all football was shut down. So we had to play them at the end of the year. We ended up losing to them. We ended up not going to the SEC championship game, and we went 10-3. We went to the Orange Bowl. Right after the Orange Bowl, we just beat the brakes off of Maryland, won the Orange Bowl. On our way, Coach Spurrier just had the post-game press conference. He told us, hey, man, to you sophomores and juniors and freshmen that's coming back, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the spring. Myself and a dude named Kenny Parker was on our way driving up 95 North, headed back to Georgia, headed back home. We look on our phones, breaking news, Coach Spurrier just signed a 5-year deal to go to the Redskins. I'm like, the Coach Spurrier we just saw? And that's when, like, the business of college football really, like, hit me in the face, hit me in Kenny, because we didn't really know how to make any sense of it. Fast forward, my 5th year in the NFL, I'm over, I find myself playing for the Raiders. Who's the head coach of the Raiders? Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin is the head coach of the Raiders. 8 games into the – now, I wasn't there when the season started. I was with the Bucs for the first 2 games, got cut. Tried out for the Falcons, didn't make that team, and ended up going to Oakland and making the Raiders. Lane Kiffin was there for 8 games, Justin, and they let him go. And I've never seen a coach get let go like this. Al Davis, may he rest in peace, he fired Lane Kiffin, and instead of just saying he's gone, he had all these receipts. He got fired because of this, because of that, because of I ain't never seen nothing like this. I really, really haven't. And when people say, why is that kind of stuff crazy? It's because, look, the same reason why they hire a coach will be the same reason why they fire them. They hire you and fire you. They'll hire you for your energy. They'll hire you for your football IQ. They'll hire you for what you bring to a team. And they'll say, and when they fire you, they'll say, didn't like his energy, wasn't really who we thought they were. So it's the situation with Billy Napier is a tall tale, because you're gonna experience so much as a college athlete. Most things you cannot control, you have no say-so over. Those players that are there, they love Billy Napier. The ones he recruited, from DJ Lagway, Vernell Brown III, I talked about Miles Graham and Dallas Wilson, guys that have been there. But unfortunately, man, this is a bottom line business. And bottom line, you hurting the business. You hurting the brand. You hurting the reputation. So I think that's what helped you grow up when you in college and in the pros, when the business of football started happening. Your coach here today, gone tomorrow. And it was crazy for me. But when I went from Coach Spurrier to Ron Zook was real similar to a Billy Napier from this standpoint. Ron Zook in 1996, when Florida won their first ever national championship, Ron Zook was a special teams coordinator. The defensive coordinator was Bob Stoops. Oklahoma Bob Stoops. That was the defensive coordinator in 96 was Bob Stoops. The special teams coach was Ron Zook. So when Ron Zook come back in 2002, his first year, we didn't know who he was. He didn't know who we were, even though he had coached there before, because he wasn't a big name. He wasn't a big name. So I think looking back on it, man, I always say this. Coach Spurrier was the coach I chose. Ron Zook was the coach I needed. This dude coached me extremely hard. He had a no-nonsense. He told us, he said, hey, man, he said, Florida's my dream job. He lasted 3 years in Florida. He was there for 2002, 2003. He got fired in 2004. In 2006, Chris Leak, Dallas Baker, a lot of Steve Harris, Joe Cohen, all these players that was those key players. Guess what their freshman year was? 2003. They got recruited by Ron Zook. So Urban Meyer's first natty, a lot of those boys got recruited by Zook. So sometimes you good at what you do, you just in the wrong position. And I said it about Billy Napier. He's a good coach. He wasn't ready to be the head coach in Florida. I mean, that head coach of Florida is the most famous coach in the state of Florida. More famous than Ty Bowles, more famous than Liam Cohen, definitely more famous than Mike McDaniel. I mean, it don't take much. But yeah, and that's no disrespect to Cristobal at Miami. That's no disrespect to Mike Norvell. You know, at Florida State, when you are the head coach of Florida, everything you do matters. And unfortunately, everything you don't do matters even more. So yeah, man, it's and obviously this is me now, you know, much older, you know, I hope a little wiser. But yeah, it's not gonna stop. So just because you're 17, 18 years old at these big time colleges and universities, you better grow up. You might not have no hair on your face, but you better have some hair on your chest. Because guess what? You're gonna have to stand in front of that podium and answer questions. And if you say the wrong thing, either you're going to realize it in real time or you're going to walk outside and say, why is my name going viral on X? Because you said something stupid. And that's the unfortunate part that we live in as far as like social media.
And this is such a strange era now with the NIL and everything. You know, before when you were talking about sometimes when you were going to be hopping over to a different team, you had to miss out on a year. That was like a mandatory thing. Mm-hmm. Now these kids are like literally packing their bags. Like it's like summer camp. They're going home and they're saying, you know what? I think I'm going to go sign up with Alabama this year because, you know, my coach is gone. You know what I mean? So it's got to be this is going to be a hard job to fill. And you and me were talking about it. You almost got to fill it with a high profile guy to keep these guys that you want to keep. If you want to keep DJ Lagway long term, you got to put somebody around him that he's going to go, you know what? He won there. I believe in this guy. You can't go out and get yourself another version of Billy Napier, who, like you said, is a good coach. He just doesn't have that name value to carry where people are going to be like, I want to go play for Billy Napier, or I want to go play for this guy, Ron Zook. You know what I mean? Like you got to get somebody like we were talking about, like a Lane Kiffin, somebody who's like a splash play at this point to kind of get these kids going, okay, these guys are serious. Like Lane Kiffin just led Ole Miss to like some good seasons, you know? But I wanted to say what you said about the head coaches getting fired and hired for the same thing, that hit home for me because I was a big Jim Harbaugh fan when he was in the 49ers. And the one thing, Jim Harbaugh was hired because he was great energy at Stanford. They loved his work ethic and they loved what he was brought up with, like his pedigree, because he was a former quarterback in the NFL. What did they fire him for? His energy and his attitude. At the end, it was Jed York saying, I don't want to give this guy too much control like they did in college. Mm-hmm. They left him hands off. They let him do his work. Jed York was like, no, dude, you're not the GM. You're not all this. And they put out all the publicity like he's tough to work with. This is why people will only put him in college because they can only deal with him for 4 years and all that stuff. All that shit came out. And I was just like, that's total bullshit. That's just slandering his name to try and make it like it's okay to kick him out after not even having a bad season. Like he went to 3 straight NFC championship games, 1 Super Bowl, and he had 1 8-8 season. You're kicking this man out of here. Get out of here with your power trip, Jed York. That's my little nugget of the day, my little rant of the day. Jed York, you can go suck it as always. But you know what, Ben? We've been talking about the Lane Kiffins and all that. Let's get our week on repeat.
And now to football scores with the boys from No Weddings in the Fall with the week on repeat.
And what a week on repeat it was. I mean, there were some real good games and there were some real weird finishes. I want to start out with Louisville and Miami. probably the biggest like eyebrow raise where you go, Miami, after all of that, they get all the way up to, I think they were 2 last week. And then Louisville knocks them out. What did you think about that game? Was it just a proverbial trap game where you got too hype on them and maybe they didn't take their opponent seriously and play down to their level? What were your overall just opinions on this one?
I don't want to say Miami played down to Louisville. I think Louisville played up to Miami because everybody knows right now what Carson Beck has been good, not great. He's been good, right? But Louisville was like, dude, I think he's taking too many chances. He's seeing things that aren't there. He's throwing in lanes that aren't there. And Louisville defense came to play. They was like, look, we are going to put a lot of pressure on Carson Beck. We're going to force his receivers to beat us. And they just had their way. I didn't think that Miami was going to go undefeated. And I think the thing about Carson Beck is this. Everybody was like, dude, he reminds me a lot of Cam Ward. No, he don't. No, he does not. I think the guy got a little Cam Ward in him. No, he got a lot of Carson in him. His name is Carson. The other guy's name was Cam. Let's just stop doing that. Everybody's going to have a game that you're going to have to overcome bad quarterback play, and you hope you can win. You wasn't going to be able to overcome 4 interceptions. It's going to be hard for anybody to overcome that. So Louisville just had an incredible night. Good night on offense, an incredible night on defense. And if you are Mario Cristobal, you saying to yourself, dude, we don't want this to snowball. We want this to be a one game and get back to what we do. And why do I say that? Do you remember when Florida State beat Alabama first week of the season? It don't seem like it now, do it? It's like it never happened because Alabama hasn't lost since then. And Florida State is 0-9 in the ACC going back to 2000. I didn't even know that. Like, what? So I think it's an outlier thing. I don't think Louisville is that good. I don't think Miami is that bad. I just think for one night, Carson Beck just forgot what he was doing and had a really, really bad night. Louisville helped him in that. And, hey, man, the Canes got to get back to what they're doing, and the Cardinals got to hope they can use this as a momentum shift.
Yeah, Carson Beck definitely had a little Carson Wentz moment in that game for sure, where he just thought he had a little too much talent and forgot, man, maybe you need to start making some better decisions on the big stage. Let's talk about this one. You were talking about that one game that got away. Vanderbilt is looking like that team that had that one game that just got away from them. They come in and they smack LSU up. Diego Pavia came out there and really showed out for all 6 of his kids and I think 2 of his grandkids. But, all jokes aside, I mean, it was truly a really good game for Pavia. And even though he is like, I think 24 realistically, but we want to joke, he's like 28. That was one of those games where you kind of put it on the ticker and you go, okay, maybe this guy does have a solid shot of being drafted, maybe even day 2. Like, he looks like a very decisive quarterback back there. He looks like a strong leader. What were your analysis on this game?
I think Diego put the team on his back. I mean, 14 to 22, 160 yards, 1 touchdown. Also had 17 rushes for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. But just like I was just saying that Carson Beck isn't who people think they are, Nussmeier, he's not who people think he is either. I mean, 19 to 28, 225 yards, 2 touchdowns. LSU is good when they have an incredible quarterback. Not a good one, not an okay one, a great one. Why? Joe Burrow, and I'm talking about Jaden Daniels. Nussmeier was supposed to be the next great one. I was like, I never saw it. But this is about Brian Kelly. Everybody thought when Brian Kelly came over from Notre Dame, he's going to do all these things. Now, his first year at LSU, they went to an SEC championship game. They lost, and they have been underwhelming since. We just got through talking about Billy Napier getting let go. We talked about what Florida State going to do with Mike Norvell at the end of the season. We talked about Hugh Freeze possibly being let go by Auburn. The only thing saving Brian Kelly is his buyout. His buyout is through the roof. It is crazy. But I'm going to keep saying this. He didn't win in Notre Dame. What you think gonna do a little? Everybody, most of the coaches that came through LSU no one. Yeah, well, he ain't most coaches. He ain't look, and I just think that with LSU underwhelming, you're gonna look to the head coach first because they got talent. They don't win the games they're supposed to win. And if you are Vanderbilt, I'm not saying this is a new Vanderbilt. I'm saying that this is the Diego Pavia led Vanderbilt, and they are 6-1. And guess what? Say what you want. Ain't nobody trying to play them. Ain't nobody trying to play Vanderbilt right now because Vanderbilt has everything to gain and nothing to lose. But guess what? They're going to play you hard. So LSU, the reason why y'all not going to the college football playoff in 2024 was because of Florida. And this year, it's because of Vandy. You don't got to like it, but that is the reality.
Yeah, you got to love it. I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I think the only team that might not be absolutely shaking in the boots to see Vanderbilt on their schedule is Alabama, because I think that would just be an overall great matchup. But, not to say Alabama's like, okay, maybe Vanderbilt can stay away from us in the playoffs, but I think this is going to be going down into the stretch. I like when I see teams like this come together, because Vanderbilt kind of showed what they showed last year, and this year they're putting it all together. I'm really hopeful to see, some of these lower tier SEC teams get into the playoffs, because it's always fun to just have competition, man.
Yeah.
And LSU sometimes needs to be kicked down a little bit, have their ego checked.
Yeah. Yes.
But, speaking of the SEC, I mean, shit, dude. Ben, I thought Ole Miss was going to pull it off again. I thought they were going to do it again, and then they flopped almost as hard as the Giants flopped against Denver. And I was there, I was watching it, and I was just like, I was sitting next to my father-in-law, I was just like, Georgia's about to win this game. Ole Miss was giving them way too many chances to come back, and they came back and they took control of it. Give me your analysis of this game, because it was a really high-scoring game, and for 3/4 of it, Ole Miss looked like they were in control. They looked like they were going to be heavy favorites to possibly win an SEC championship, and then it just all slipped through their hands in the fourth.
Yeah, I think that's what it came down to, the fourth quarter. I mean, Georgia scored 17 points in the fourth quarter to no points by Ole Miss. Here's the thing about Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin is a really, really good coach until he meets a really, really good coach. He has a really, really good team until he meets a really, really good team. And people saying, yeah, Ben, but last year he beat Georgia. That was last year, right? Last year he had Jackson Dart. Last year he had a really, really good offense that you had to go out there and outscore them. Well, I mean, your defense gave up 43 points, and that's how you end up losing. I will say this about this Georgia team, right? Georgia lost to Alabama, and Georgia has lost to Alabama. And Kirby Smart's tenure at Georgia, they played Alabama 8 times. He is 1-7. So he's only beaten them 1 time since he's been there. And that was in the national championship when they was down both starting receivers. A win is a win. They're going to take it. If you are Lane Kiffin, the things they say about Lane Kiffin continue to be. You went from 8 wins to 9 wins to 10 wins, 11 wins. Well, who you lost to? Man, I'm losing to Alabama. I'm losing to LSU. I'm losing to Florida. I'm losing to Georgia. Why? Because when the talent threshold is the same, then it comes down to coaching decisions. And I respect what Lane Kiffin do. I respect what Lane Kiffin does, but Kirby Smart is saying, dude, I'm the assistant under Nick Saban who know what it's like to win national championships, to win SEC championships. The rest of y'all that came through underneath that Nick Saban coaching tree, y'all got head coaching jobs. Y'all ain't got no rings. Y'all ain't got no rings. Y'all ain't got no legacy attached to it. So, and this is when I knew that Kirby Smart was going to beat him. Kirby Smart used to be the defensive coordinator. At one point, Lane Kiffin was the offensive coordinator under Nick Saban. They asked Lane Kiffin during the week last week. They said, yeah, man, we see you. They said, who you think burned the most calories on the sideline, you or Kirby? He said, well, I've seen Kirby lately. He ain't burning no calories. I said, oh, okay, you're going to lose now because you ain't have to say that. It's the little thing. And Kirby refuses to lose. He'll lose to Alabama 2 years in a row because that's the Alabama-Georgia legacy. He's not losing to Ole Miss 2 years in a row. He's like, dude, we lost to y'all last year. We're not losing y'all twice. So, hey, man, that's the difference in a culture and a good team. Georgia has a great culture. Ole Miss got a good team. Good teams don't beat great culture teams. So, I had a feeling that Ole Miss was going to do against Georgia what Tennessee did. It took them 4 quarters to do it, but they finally did it. Tennessee was going to lose to Georgia because they don't beat Georgia. I don't care about what they do. Georgia, this Tennessee offense, what happened? They lost. Ole Miss came out firing. You know what Georgia said? Watch, we scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. The only team scored more than them in the fourth quarter is Denver against the Giants. They scored 33 in the fourth, which I'm still having a hard time believing that that's even physically possible, and they did that, which is crazy.
Yeah, that was wild. Let's see. We got a shout out from the commish at the game saying, "Let's go."
Let's go.
I hope I hope that the Heat are treating you good, Commish. If you go 0-1 here, we might have to send out a PSA. We might have to go and check on the Commish if he's going 0-1 in basketball as well. And then Daniel Barry, thank you. Happy Wednesday. Hello to you as well. Yeah, man, I'll tell you what. You absolutely are right, though. There's those staple teams, and then there are the teams that are having a good season. It's a perfect transition to Alabama, Tennessee. Tennessee came into this game, and they had me convinced, man. I was convinced. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I was out there thinking they were going to be able to handle Alabama. Silly me. I forgot that Alabama plays all three phases of the ball well. And you know what? That was just really what it came down to here. Tennessee does not play great defense, and Alabama is stellar on defense. They win 37-20. Give me a quick synopsis of what you saw between these two.
I think what I saw the most with the Tennessee-Alabama team is Alabama still has that intimidation factor. Tennessee is a good team. Coach Josh Heupel is a good team. But in order for Tennessee to beat Alabama, they got to score all four quarters, and they got to match them play for play, player for player, series for series. And Alabama was like, dude, y'all hype. We real over here. Y'all pretenders over here. We contenders over here. And like I said, they haven't lost since week 1. Alabama has not. Man, that's been so long ago. Florida State is trending in the wrong direction, and Alabama is becoming the team that nobody wants to play. I will say this about Todd Simpson: 19-29, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns. Right? Nothing crazy, but efficient. No interceptions, and Alabama played with confidence. Alabama looked at Tennessee like this. They was like, "Look, dude, all that hype goes out the window when they kick this ball off. You know that, right? All that other stuff." Y'all, y'all not gonna beat us, right? Alabama was smoking on cigars. They were smoking on that Tennessee Loud Pack after the game. That's what they was doing. I respect what Tennessee does, but once again, just like Ole Miss, Tennessee is a good team. Alabama is culture. That's culture right there. When culture steps on the field with good, culture beats the brakes off of good teams. And like I respect both squads, but Tennessee got to play Vanderbilt. And they looking down the road saying, dude, Vanderbilt, was playing Alabama really well. Really, yeah, Vanderbilt played them better than we did. Alabama wiped the floor with us. This was not a game at a certain point. But, hey, man, they still got a lot of games left to go in the season. But, yeah, this is all about Alabama doing what Alabama does. And this is about Tennessee just trying to – right now they're trying to make sure they still the best team in the state of Tennessee. Because them guys over there in Nashville named Vanderbilt, they say, hey, dude, we coming for that crown at least in 2025.
Yeah, Vanderbilt is definitely coming for that crown. It was crazy to see because it's like I said, I thought Tennessee had this game. I thought it was going to be definitely closer than it was. But Alabama, like you said, they just got something about them when it comes to these teams where it's just an it factor. It's like how Baltimore used to be on so many AFC teams and even NFC teams, where they just have that it factor going for them, and they just walk in with that swagger, already knowing they can win this game easily 9 times out of 10. And you got to have that one moment, that 1 out of 10 shot. But that wasn't Tennessee's day today. Let's go to a little NFL. I just want to get it kicked off with. Let's just start off with the Broncos-Giants game. That was fucking wild. Come on now. That was fucking wild. I remember looking at my same thing. My father-in-law was over this weekend, so we were enjoying a lot of football. And I was just like, I remember looking over and I'm going, man, are the Broncos really shitty? Because he's a Raider fan, so he needs a little bit of hope in this world. And knowing the Broncos might be shitty, he was trying to get a little hope from that. But then they turn it on. Bo Nix gets 4 total touchdowns, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground. Tell me what you were thinking when you're going through this, and tell me how a locker room feels after pulling off. I know you probably never, because it never got done, never pulled off a comeback like this in the fourth quarter, but I'm sure you were part of plenty of comebacks in your day. How do you feel in the locker room after a good comeback like this?
Oh, man, this is the greatest feeling in the world. But to be a part of something that we've never seen, Like to say, hey, dude, it's one thing to have a comeback, like a quarterback have a great fourth quarter comeback. We end up, we down by 10. We end up winning by 1. No, dude, we was down. We didn't score at all until the fourth. We scored 33 points, which means the other team gave up 33 points. You talk about Brian Burns, you talk about Kayvon Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence and those guys, y'all gave up 33 points. They got a sound bite of Brian Burns, pissed off after the game, walking into the locker room. But this is what this is about. This was the anniversary. It was the 10-year anniversary of the 2015 Denver Broncos Super Bowl winning team. Peyton Manning was in the building. Emmanuel Sanders was in the building. DeMarcus Webb was in the building. All them big-time players back in the day. And they was honoring Demaryius Thomas, who, may he rest in peace. Demaryius Thomas died when he was 33 years old. They scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying that's crazy, right? Died when he was 33. They scored 33 in the fourth. And if you are Sean Payton said, listen, whatever you want to call it, luck, whatever you want to call it, if you are Coach DeBoer, you are saying to yourself, did we really just lose 33-32? You knew it was going to be – and I ain't never seen anything like that, Justin. I've seen a lot of football. It took us a little – we didn't even realize they scored all 30. Wait a minute. Whoa. You look at the box score, they said, dude, they scored 33 points in the fourth? Yeah. And they won. So, incredible game. Shout out to Jackson Dart and Scatterboo. They are still playing their hearts out, being rookies. But Bo Nix is finding a way to get it done, man. Everybody want to talk about Jaden Daniels from 2024. Bo Nix had an incredible season. He went to the playoffs as a rookie too, and they finding a way to keep the train rolling in the AFC West that still has Kansas City in it, that still has the Chargers in it, and unfortunately the Raiders. I mean, they in it, but I don't know what the Raiders really do. Outside of being in Vegas, they don't really do anything. Outside of having a nice the best uniform. I mean, I'm saying that silver and black is nice. It ain't much to talk about with the Raiders.
Yeah, Ben, they haven't been in it since the 80s, so it's okay. But you know what? You know what the wildest thing, putting it all together, is there was 46 points scored in that quarter. The Giants still put up 13 points. So they still had 3 successful scoring drives in that span, or 2 successful scoring drives. I think they missed on either an extra point or a 2-point conversion on that, an extra point. But anyways, in other words, they were still firing. It wasn't just giving the ball over to Denver. They were still out there firing. Denver just had all the hustle in the world on their team, and they pulled it out. Definitely one for the books. I was so glad I got to see that. I mean, there's times when you get to see it in the highlights, and then you see it in real life, and you're like, "Holy shit, that's a moment right there."
That's crazy. That's Justin. We don't really fully appreciate what we saw because we watched that much football. It's gonna take some time for us to go. You hate it if you're a Giants fan, and you love it if you're a Broncos fan. I think Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson was tweeting at Shannon Sharp during the game like, yo, Unc, you all right? You good? And then in the fourth quarter, people like, Chad, you spoke a little bit too early because he's finna get at you all night, Cal. But hey, man, if for one, honoring Demaryius Thomas, I think he went up in the Ring of Honor. The 2015 Super Bowl winning team paid the man to talk about him and Emmanuel and different guys, and they out there with his jersey on, and then they scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. That's wild. That's crazy. It's crazy.
That is wild. I'm going to close it out, though. I mean, we had other games on the docket, but this is the only game that really matters here. 49ers beat the Falcons. And because you're a Falcons fan, I'm a Niners fan. I ain't trying to rub shit in. I'm trying to ask a solid question. 49ers came in. So you said it before. You said it's culture versus a good team. And I look at 49ers, I say it's good culture. And I look at the Falcons beating them. They beat Buffalo. It was a good team. I don't know how this happened, but it did. And I got to ask you a good solid question here. Is Michael Penix the answer, or are we fishing for a new quarterback very soon?
I do think Michael Penix is the answer, but what we have to always remember, this is Michael Penix. Essentially, this is still his rookie year. He played in 4 games in 2024. So you didn't know what you had in 4 games. And I don't want to hear about almost beating Jaden Daniels on Thursday night. You lost. I don't want to hear about the almost. But that's what this game was about. When you are playing the 49ers, you know who you got to stop, right? His name is Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
He wears number 23. C-Mac, 24 rushes, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 7 catches, 70 yards. He led you in rushing and receiving. Christian McCaffrey, I saw during the game that Bijan Robinson reached out to Christian McCaffrey and said, can I work out with you in the offseason? Christian McCaffrey said, yeah. People go, why would he do that? Because Christian is telling Bijan, the reason why I can show you what I do, because I'm showing you what I do. That don't mean you could do what I do. Now, Bijan is nasty good. You know what Atlanta didn't do that the 49ers did? Atlanta didn't feature Bijan, and the 49ers featured C-Mac. They say, hey, man, you think you overworking C-Mac? That's what we pay him to do. We pay him to go out there and do what he does. And I will say this, though. I have been very, very impressed with Mac Jones. You know why? Mac Jones, former first-round pick out of Alabama to New England. Now he finds himself over there with the 49ers. He's been efficient. I don't care about box numbers. I care about wins. And the last 3 games, he's 2-1. He ain't have on that half red, half black suit after this game. But if you are Atlanta, Raheem Morris is staring over at the former Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, and saying, hey, Kyle, you think you can give us some of these plays? Think about this. You go into the game with Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and you score 10 points. That's not getting it done. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan and Michael Penix, you scored 10 points. That's bad play calling. Fred Warner was at the game. He up there in the booth with his foot up, and it was wife and his son. George Kittle just got back. He wasn't even a factor. Now, Trent Williams is still Trent Williams. Trent is Trent. And I just think that that's one that the Atlanta Falcons let get away, because you start questioning yourself, like, who are we? Are we the team versus Buffalo? Are we the team versus 49ers? You both. You both teams. And 49ers said, dude, I don't care what y'all did against Buffalo. That ain't us. The best culture in that division is the 49ers. I like what Seattle's doing, right? I mean, Arizona, they can't really beat nobody. And I just think that when you think about that entire division as a whole, the 49ers, and I know what the Rams are trying to do right now, but I still like the 49ers. They doing this with Brock Purdy still on the injured list. So when you got a solid backup and you still winning games, that's when you know you got a good team. When Walker wounded don't even begin to no Ricky Pearsall, no Brandon Ayuk, no, and you still get the win. That's coaching, people. Yep. That's a good team.
Yeah, I mean it was good coaching. I mean I like the mix up, because it's like, with the zone runs, I know all about that. You got to be a little bit quicker. I think the 49ers offensive line hasn't been that. So switching up to a little bit more of the power scheme, throwing a little bit of gap scheme in there as well, really making it like punching somebody in the mouth. I liked what they did there. And you know what? Like you said, why didn't the Falcons feature Bijan Robinson? Because every time he got the ball, it worked. Every time he got the ball, it worked. But it was like it was one of those weird games where you went away from the game plan that got you into the position.
Yep. Trying to be cute. Cute football to get you every time.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we are starting to get a little bit on the later side, so we are going to get to what
Don't
we're
worry,
watching.
Ben. No weddings here. I just want to know what college game to watch this week.
And goddamn, do we have a hot docket of games this week. We got some Ole Miss and Oklahoma going down. Tell me, what are you thinking about this Ole Miss-Oklahoma game? Who do you think has the advantage?
I think I think Ole Miss has the better team, but I think Oklahoma got the advantage. Oklahoma is going to let Ole Miss know real quick, hey, dude, we ain't Georgia, but we ain't far off. Coach Venables, former defensive coordinator for the Clemson Tigers, what he has brought to Oklahoma, he's brought a style of play, physical style of play. They want to throw the football. They want to run the football. They play good, not great defense. And if you are Ole Miss, sometimes you look at past a team like Oklahoma because you got Georgia on the schedule. Oklahoma saying, hey, dude, we respect y'all over there in Ole Miss, but we know y'all beatable. We know we can beat y'all. I think this might end up being one of the best games of the weekend because Coach Venables, just like a Lane Kiffin, Coach Venables, you talk about tradition. Oklahoma? Hello? Yeah. I'm just saying. I mean, Kyler Murray, right? I go all the way back. Jason White. They've been
You were saying it. Bob Stoops.
Stoops.
Bob Stoops had these guys competing in the early 2000s for every national title. They weren't winning them, but they were competing.
Yeah, so I think this gotta. I think for Lane Kiffin, I think he wants to continue winning, even though I think his days in Ole Miss might be coming to an end with the situation going on down there in Florida. I've heard some rumblings about him potentially coming to Florida just to see the facilities and different. Man, these coaches don't even try to hide it no more. Like, look, man, what? I mean, you think is Ole Miss a better coaching job than Florida? No. Is Ole Miss a bigger brand than Florida? No. Just stop that. What the hell is a hottie toddy? What is that? Man, stop it. Anyway. Don't even get me started about some of these traditions. I think Ole Miss got a good shot to upset Ole Miss, but I do think Ole Miss wants to continue to try to get back into that college football playoff conversation. So I do got Ole Miss winning, but I do not have them winning easily. I got Oklahoma understanding that when it comes to what they're trying to prove, when it comes to the SEC, they can play just as good as anybody else. They ain't scared of nobody. So we'll see what happens. But I do like Ole Miss in this matchup.
Yeah, Sam, I think I like Ole Miss for the bounce back. Oklahoma is they're really good, but I think that Ole Miss just at this point is a little bit better. Let's get down to another one. This is actually two surprise teams, Missouri and Vanderbilt. I love this matchup because I really do think one of these teams will make it to the playoffs and will cause somebody some serious issues either week one of the playoffs or even further. So Missouri and Vanderbilt, who you got in this one?
Man, this is one of them tricky games, right? Because Missouri is one of those teams that never, ever get a lot of respect until you say, they rank number 15. Yep. And Vanderbilt, think about this. But this is number 10 versus number 15. Vanderbilt is ranked number 10, and Missouri is ranked number 15. Eli Drinkwitz, head coach of Missouri, doesn't get enough credit for how he's coached Missouri since he's been there. And those people think, hey, man, where did he come from? Appalachian State. Where is that? That's Sun Belt. Like Billy Napier? Yep. Where's Billy Napier? Gone. Eli Drinkwitz been there so long that he got hired the same time Dan Mullen got hired at Florida. Two coaches have come and gone, and Eli Drinkwitz still been there. I'm just telling y'all, he knows what he's doing. I just like Diego. I just think Diego Pavilion. He said, look, man, I came back to Vanderbilt because I want to do the unthinkable. What? I want to have a shot to play in Atlanta, and I want to have a shot to play in the college football playoff. This is going to be a good game. I just think Diego saying, look, Mizzou, man, the only team right now that's beat us is Alabama. Y'all good enough to beat us, but this ain't the same Alabama, man. Y'all should have beat us when Jay Cutler was the quarterback here. My name is Diego Pavia. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Come to my house if you want something to eat after the game. I'm going to beat the hell out of you during the game. Give me Vanderbilt.
I love it. This could really be a game to kind of stamp Diego Pavia into that top 5 in the Heisman rankings. I mean, he's definitely played it. He's earned it. And you know what? He's 26 years old, and he's going to be going to the NFL next year, probably on somebody's team as a backup. But you know what? Enjoy it right now, son, because, hell, you keep on playing like this, you might be top 3 in the Heisman this year. Let's do it. Texas A&M, LSU. Texas A&M, very quiet number 3. You're not talking too much about them, but they have been playing their ass off. And then LSU obviously has been losing a lot of key games. Who do you got in this one?
Texas A&M has been a team that nobody's been talking about a lot, still undefeated. They've had some blowout wins. They've had some very, very close wins. I don't trust LSU, right? LSU always going to have the talent, but Brian Kelly is mismanaging talent. Nussmeier is a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. This could easily be a trap game. It's crazy I'm saying a trap game for Texas A&M because they undefeated right now. I think that LSU makes a game of it, though. I think LSU is saying, look, this is what we've learned to do under Brian Kelly. We lose games, we should win. We win some games because we got the talent threshold. We have lost some nail biters against Ole Miss, lost a nail biter, last week against Vanderbilt. I think they finally let Texas A&M know there are not going to be any more undefeated teams in the SEC. Those days are over with. So Texas A&M gets their first loss of the year. Gonna be a good one, but I got LSU taking down the Aggies. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Texas A&M actually holding on to their undefeated streak in this one. I just do not like what I see with LSU. I think that they might be the next one on the lookout for a new coach very soon. Maybe not this year, but very soon. All right, Ben. Let's get a couple NFL picks, and then let's get to the end.
You all are terrible. Even the boys from No Weddings in the Fall didn't pick you to win.
So we got some real good games this week. Let's start out with San Francisco, Houston. Starting to turn into maybe not that great of a game if you're like a fantasy football player, but at the same time, it's two old coaches going against each other. It's DeMeco Ryans going against his mentor, Robert Saleh, on the coaching end, at least. You know, DeMeco is a hell of a linebacker himself, so he knows a lot about good defense. But, you know, it's going against Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan, two guys that gave him a shot on the coaching end, and obviously were correct because he's a really good coach in the NFL. In this type of a matchup, what are you looking for? And, you know, because you got two guys that know each other very well, right? DeMeco ran against Kyle Shanahan's offense for 2 straight years. He knows the ins and outs of what he likes to do. How do you go about this game, and what do you think is going to be the outcome?
I'm going to be looking for Robert Saleh to be able to go out there and put a lot of pressure on C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud, you know what no one wants to talk about? People look at the fact they went to the playoffs the last 2 years, his first 2 years, right? Look at his numbers compared to Bryce Young. Bryce Young was the number 1 pick in the draft. C.J. Stroud was the number 2. Bryce Young has better numbers. He has more touchdowns, less interceptions. I think that C.J. Stroud is going to have to deal with a lot because I think Robert Saleh is going to say, okay, we don't have Warren and those guys, but we're gonna see if CJ Stroud got more than Nico Collins. We know what you and Nico got. I'm gonna take away your first read. I'm gonna make sure you get your second and third read. No one's afraid of Nick Chubb in that running game. The running game for Houston is not really good right now. And if you are DeMeco Ryans, you saw what the Falcons couldn't do. What you against Christian McCaffrey, they're gonna unleash him. Right, on Shakir and those guys on defense. But here's what you better do. Trent Williams, I know he's going to have to deal with Danielle Hunter. Somebody got to deal with Will Anderson Jr. Will Anderson Jr. is him. He is him. I think I still got the 49ers winning this game, Justin, because I just think they're a better team. Houston, we don't even really talk about Houston no more. You know why? That will be because of, what's his name? Daniel Indiana Jones up there in Indy. He's the reason why the Houston Texans are an afterthought right now. So I think the 49ers get another win against a Houston Texans team that's definitely good, but Nico Collins don't scare nobody. CJ Stroud is going in the wrong direction. You got the best bookend defensive end duo with Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr., but I think Robert Saleh, he knows how to attack a young quarterback. He knows how to attack a team that's one-dimensional because they don't got a running game. And if you are Kyle Shanahan, just do what you do. Find if George Kittle is healthy, you try to get him back into the mix. Christian McCaffrey gonna have to drink 5 Gatorades with an IV. He gonna be tired, but that's what they pay him to do. I got the 49ers.
He's gonna have the bananas on the sideline loading up every drive. But I absolutely agree. I think it's going to be interesting. You said it best. Like CJ Stroud is one of the only quarterbacks every year he's gotten more talent, and every year he's kind of dropped the ball more and more. Like it's weird his fall off, because when you first saw him, you were like, oh, dude, this guy is great because he's got like no talent around him. He's utilizing everybody. But now he's got like Nico Collins, Jalen Noel, Jaden Higgins, all these guys on offense. He doesn't know how to distribute the ball well. It's going to be interesting to see what he does without Nico Collins, like you said. Let's move on to what was the biggest upset of the year leading up to last week. The Giants, Philly. And we're in Philly this time. The spotlight is on Philly all the way because of the way they've been playing. How do you see this thing playing out? Giants obviously are going to come in with all the confidence in the world, rightfully so. They've been hot. They've been on fire. But with Philly, you got to slow it down. You got to play your game, and you got to get Saquon the ball no matter what, at least 20 times this game. How are you looking at this outlook right now?
I definitely don't think it's going to be it's going to be definitely different than what happened up there in New York, or New Jersey, and MetLife. Here's I think what's going to happen. They're going to feature Saquon because I don't know. I really don't know what they've been doing with Saquon all year. This is the game for him to have a breakout. Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, and Abdul Carter, they're going to have to live in the backfield. They're going to have to force Jalen Hurts to make some bad decisions because, like you mentioned, Jackson Dart and Scatterboo, they respect Philly. They ain't scared of them. They're like, okay, we beat them the last time. Well, at Philly is going to be a lot different. Here's the thing, though. Everybody want to talk about Brandon Graham coming out of retirement and helping the pass rush. Brandon Graham like 36, 37 years old, whatever he is. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Azeez Ojulari, a former New York Football Giant. Dude, y'all in y'all 20s, early 20s. Y'all better find a way. Jalen Carter, wasn't they talking about you being one of the best interior defensive linemen in 2024? You have 0 sacks in 2025. You missing games. You more known for spitting on Dak Prescott before the game even began in 2025 than what you've done. And here's the thing. This secondary, outside of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper Jean, Ringo, they picking on you. They picked on you the first time they played. They're going to try to pick on you again. I do got Philly winning it because the X factor for both teams is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, he said, I just want to win, man. I don't care about box scores. I don't care about how it look. I don't care about looking sexy doing it. I just want to win. So A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Dotson, those guys, they're going to find a way to, Mechie and those guys going to get loose. But I think it's going to come down to the Giants are going to get a wake-up call. The Giants defense, they coming off saying, dude, we gave up 33 points in one quarter. They're going to be trying to get that ugly taste, that taste out their mouth, unfortunately. They better go get a cheesesteak because they're going to get beat. I got Philly winning this thing. I got Philly winning.
Yeah. Put extra cheese on that one because I got Philly winning this one as well. I just think it's going to be too much. You can't – if you're the division favorite, you can't be losing to the last place team in your division twice.
Yes.
So I think Philly finds a way to pull it out. It's not – I don't think it's going to be clean. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Giants are for real, but I do think that Philly's going to have to find a way to pull this one out. Next up, we got probably one of the most interesting games and least talked about. Dallas' high-powered offense, and I mean high-fucking-powered offense with CeeDee Lamb back, going against Denver, their stout defense, reigning defensive player of the year. Obviously, it didn't look so stout last week, but this defense has been good. It's been spotty. Talanoa Hufanga needs to get better at coverage. That's kind of why I was okay with him leaving because he has never been a good center fielder. Anyways, give me what you think on this one, who you got in this one, and maybe if you got any surprises or anything for this game here, Dallas versus Denver.
I do not have no surprises for this game. I think you just mentioned it. This Denver Broncos defense, yes, they got Patrick Surtain, but you be forgetting he out there because they're going to attack the other side of the field. Talafunga, he's a really good safety when he wants to be. He's not consistent at anything. Yes, he's a good run stopper, but they pay you to cover guys. He might look like Troy Polamalu with his hair in the wind. He do not play like Troy Polamalu. I don't want to hear that comparison anymore. But I think the most dangerous tandem at receiver in the league is George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Dude, them two dudes together, you go pick your poison because what they're going to do, they're going to put CeeDee Lamb in the slot. They're going to put George Pickens on the other side, and Dak Prescott is playing at an MVP level. He's playing out of his mind right now. So, Bo Nix and company, if y'all think y'all going to have to repeat, unless y'all finna have the 2015 team come back, y'all ain't scoring 33 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Dallas Cowboys. Y'all going to have to keep pace. I got Dallas winning because George Pickens has proven to be a top 10 talent. CeeDee Lamb has been a top 5 receiver since he got drafted out of Oklahoma. I just think that with this Denver's defense, they okay. They don't do nothing great. Drake Kinlaw, he gonna miss the game for going crazy with the refs, so he's not gonna be there. I got Dallas winning this game, even though Bo Nix don't get enough credit for how well of a player he is. And Bo Nix has to call the craziest plays ever. If you've ever heard a play call from Sean Payton, why don't you just be quiet about Russell Wilson? What's up? Like, why you got so much to say, man? Here's the thing, Sean Payton, because I know I got your ear. How many Super Bowls you went to? You went to 1. Russell went to 2, right? And you only went because you had Drew Brees, right? So please stop talking, because since you left New Orleans, it ain't been much to talk about. So please Stop coming at Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson actually fired back. You got to, boy, Russell Wilson is, I know one person he can't stand, and Russell Wilson likes everybody. He do not like Sean Payton. Basically, he telling Sean, if you got something to say, what's up? Holla at me. I like that. I like the smoke.
Yeah, that was the one moment where I thought to myself, you know, Russell Wilson, good for you. And I'm not usually like that because I don't really like Russell Wilson too much. He beat my team way too much. But you know what? When he came out and he said that, he said he's classless. I was just like, you know what? I can totally fucking see that about Sean Payton, bro. You know, you can't be throwing that many jabs. But I think you really nailed it though with the Dre Greenlaw take. Dude, what the fuck are you going out there verbally fucking threatening a referee? Like, what's wrong with you, dude? Oh, man, I love me some Dre Greenlaw. He was a great 49er. Yes. But, man, your first game back and you're out there pulling this kind of shit, dude. Oh, man, come on now. It's almost a big Dom shit all over again. Just come on, dude. You don't need to fucking waste your time with that shit. But anyway, I'm gonna go with what you said. I think Dallas's offense is clicking too much right now, and like you said, Bo Nix, unfortunately, he has not been turning it on until he needs to. Yeah. He's gonna need to all game long because Dak is just gonna feed Pickens. He's gonna feed Lamb. Wherever Surtain isn't, like you said, wherever Surtain isn't, he is going to be. He's going to
feed Ferguson, too. They tight end is real good, too.
Oh, yeah. Ferguson and Javonte Williams has been a revelation at the running back position. He has just been absolutely stuck.
And you're former Bronco, right?
Oh, yeah. Former Bronco. Hell yeah, he is. They gave up on him. So he went to Dallas, got a new offensive line, said, let's go, son.
Let's do it.
And then the final game. I love it because I always love a revenge game. They've been talking about it all week long. People have been like, you know, Aaron Rodgers is going to be looking up at the fucking Gutenkurts in the suite up there going, you know what? You could have had me back here for another 3 seasons. We could have been doing this dance a long time. So it's Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. I was about to say going back to Green Bay. Nope, in Pittsburgh. Hosting the Green Bay Packers in his new home. Who do you got in this one?
Man, this is going to be a good game. You talk about teams that want to get an ugly taste out their mouth. If you are Joey Porter Jr., Jalen Ramsey, you got to be like, dude. I mean, Jamar Chase just caught another pass, man. He caught a pass in my dreams last night. It's crazy. I mean, it was wild, right?
What was it like? It was like 25 targets, right? It was an ungodly amount of targets.
T. Higgins caught the one that really sealed the game when he just caught it, could have scored, slid. They ran it down about 8 seconds, kicked the field goal. Jordan Love get to do what Justin Fields didn't do. Justin Fields' first game of the year with the Jets, stared over and said, all right, y'all didn't want me, y'all wanted him, but he lost. I think Jordan Love is going to tell Aaron Rodgers, hey, man, I appreciate you being a mentor for me for about 3 years, but I'm going to show you why they made the right decision. Yeah, I'm going to show you why. Yes, they went out there and gave me Golden, you know what I'm saying, in the draft. Yes, but I also got Micah Parsons. You got TJ Watt, right? I just think that this Pittsburgh team is good. You know, you got DK Metcalf, you got Pat Freiermuth, right? You got Jonnu Smith, you got Darnell Washington, right? But I think the thing about Green Bay is Green Bay has a quarterback in Jordan Love that can improvise. And I'm sorry, Jalen Ramsey. I'm sorry, Joey Porter Jr. People respect y'all. They ain't scared of y'all. They gonna come right at y'all. Why would they not? Jalen Ramsey out there with no gloves on, out there looking like an old school cornerback. Like, man, put some gloves on, man. Come on, man. I'm just saying. So I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I'm looking forward to DK Metcalf getting into it with somebody. DK Metcalf likes nobody. He gets into it with everybody. I mean, this guy got to have a therapist. I mean, he got anger management problems. He does. But I like Green Bay in this game. I think Green Bay is just a slightly better team. Because guess who Pittsburgh got to deal with? Yeah, they got to deal with Micah Parsons. He had 3 sacks last week. 3.
Right.
So I think that because you got a Michael Parsons, you know, in the Michael Parsons factor, you got Jordan Love. I like what Aaron Rodgers ain't even allowed to celebrate with his teammates at the touchdowns. I mean, don't push it, man. His bones real fragile. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the whole one side of the locker room smell like, you know what I'm saying, being gay and icy hot. Like it's lit up. You know what I'm saying? So, but I good game, like Mike Tomlin, but I just think that the Packers slightly better. Give me the Packers.
Nice. I'm gonna do the flip side. I actually like the Steelers in this one. I always love a good revenge game. And you know what? I look at Aaron Rodgers. I think he's gonna come fueled with spite, and I think he's gonna go, "Hey, motherfuckers, this is my field now. Why don't you see yourself to the door?" But anyways, we're done ranting. I'm done ranting, man. I've been going shit. Ben, I forgot this was your show. I've been ranting so much. But we cannot have a good end to the show without Ben's Skadoop.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready for Ben Troupe's Skadoop of the Week.
What up, my good people? I am Ben Troupe. This is No Weather to Fall. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. But before you do that, just know this. In the National Football League, right, we got a communication problem. I mean, up there in Cleveland, you know, Coach Stefanski up there saying dumb stuff like, "Hey, man, why ain't Shedeur Sanders getting first-team reps?" Oh, because, man, when we had Joe Flacco here, you know, and Dylan Gabriel got first-team reps because we had a veteran. So why would you have first-team reps for both of your rookies? Then down there in Miami, we got a quarterback problem. Tua saying everything but throwing touchdowns and doing the things he want to do. Then up there in New York with the Jets, Woody Johnson, the owner, is talking trash about Justin Fields. What am I saying? Why don't we do the right thing by the quarterback? Because you never know when you're going to need him. Woody Johnson, you an owner. You ain't never played. Coach Stefanski, you're going to need Shedeur. And at the end of the day, man, when it comes to these quarterback situations throughout the course of the league, every good team got one thing in common: good quarterback relationship with the head coach and the quarterback. I am Ben Troupe. This is No Weather to the Fall. I got plenty of baby powder. Love y'all, and I'm out of here.